What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Aftersound here, bringing you Splinterlands content daily. We also stream over on Twitch at This Is Aftersound, so come by and say hello. All right, guys. This was one of the best town halls in a very, very long time for me. I'm going to go ahead and start off right off the bat and say that I probably should have and I would have had way more than 5 takeaways. And I mean, I do have more than 5 takeaways, but for the purposes of this video, I really tried to slim it down to only 5 things. And from there, you know, I'll probably end up doing a couple of videos to expand further on a lot of the other ideas that were thrown out. Now, a lot of the energy came in because Yaba Matt finally made a return after, I think, a month away. And it sounds like he will only be coming on monthly from now on. So we'll have to wait another 3 to 4 weeks until we hear from him. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, it was great, though. Everything that he was talking about was awesome. Makes me so freaking bullish about what is happening in this game. And for all the people who have been, you know, chilling in the comments saying that I'm throwing FUD around, I don't believe that I'm throwing FUD around. I believe that I'm being realistic because at the end of the day, I've never been bullish. I've never been bearish on Splinterlands. I've been bearish on certain assets and tokens in the game in the short term, and I try to give my reasoning why. But I've always been bullish on the game, and especially SPS. I mean, I talk about it every single day, how I'm addicted to stacking and staking SPS. But that's a little bit of an aside. I just want to say that I'm so pumped for what is coming. And Yaba Matt was also saying that he has never been more bullish. The most conservative team member has never been more bullish about what is happening within the game and the ecosystem right now. Excuse me. All right, so let's go ahead and jump right in. For those of you who might be new to this series that I do on a weekly basis, this is not a recap. This is just the 5 things that I found interesting. And again, there's way more than 5, and I'm going to try and cover a lot of them in a condensed manner. But if you're looking for a good summary, there's a lot of other awesome content creators out there. I highly recommend you go check them out, show them some support. What I'm going to use here as a visual reference is the official Splinterlands Town Hall summary that they posted up on Peak D. But in addition to that, I also have my 5 biggest takeaways so that you guys can also get a visual on what is going on and what I'll be speaking about. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to switch back to the darker screen here so it's easier on your eyes. But that first one is Modern and Wild, and reward changes are expected to come in April. So we knew Modern and Wild, or at least I should say Modern since we already have Wild, but Modern and Wild are coming in April. Cryptomancer mentioned that, I believe, last week or maybe 2 weeks ago, that they were going to really shoot to try and have it done by the end of April. And now we are also hearing that the rewards update is going to be around that same time. Now, they're not going to be done together. That was my initial thing, was like, I thought maybe that they would be released together, but it sounds like they're going to try and release them around the same time. And for obvious reasons, right? Because when you're making a major update to the game, like Modern and Wild format, why not also put in the rewards update, as opposed to like doing the rewards update sooner and then having everything just kind of shift again. So now we're probably going to find out everything all at once when we get, you know, the full details on it. And the only thing that I do remember about the starting date for the rewards economy is they'll have to start it at a season beginning, right? So I'm assuming Modern's going to have to be the same way. It'd be kind of weird if they just like introduce Modern halfway through a season. So I'm really expecting these to come within, actually, probably at the same time. If I was a betting man, I would say that I would expect them to come at or around the same time, just because it makes sense for both of the seasons, or for both of them to start at the beginning of the season. So the big thing here, all right, so with the rewards update, there was so much in there, and I'm moving on to number 2 now. But there was so much within the rewards update that I want to talk about that it's probably going to get its own video as I get a chance to dig in further. I'm already on my round 2 of listening to the town hall, just because, again, there's so much in there. So I highly recommend you go check it out and listen. But a couple of the things that were mentioned is that the starter cards for rewards are technically very inflationary, and this is what has caused, I don't even want to say the bot problem, but the automated account problem is what Matt was calling it, and I guess it is a bot problem, right? So that's essentially what a bot is. But the thing is, accounts could come in, people could come in, sign up, pay the $10 for Splinterland Spellbook or Summoner Spellbook, I mean, and then be able to essentially earn rewards in perpetuity. So it's just, you could just farm as much as you wanted with that one-time down payment of getting the Summoner Spellbook. So a big shift towards this, and we don't have the full or final details on this yet. A lot of this was just kind of being spitballed or thrown out there as what they are working on. But to me, one of the biggest takeaways is that there will be 0 rewards for starter cards, is what it sounds like. So if you are playing a game where you are using all starter cards, so something that a lot of bots end up doing, then you win, you actually get 0 prizes from that. And so let's say you play a game and like 3 of the cards are starter cards and and the other 3 are regular cards, or sorry, not regular cards, but bought cards that you own. Then you would only win, maybe the new, like, and it's not going to be an ECR, but we'll call it like CCR, right? Your card capture rate will be only 50%, right? So the eligible amount of rewards you would get will be immediately slashed by 50%. So now the idea that all these bot accounts can go around and just farm DEC rewards, that's going to come to an end in a sense. Now, the way that this can be mitigated, right, is because accounts can technically own a bunch of cards. But that, again, is the next step in the evolution of what they did with the Bronze 3 nerf, where they were requiring power. So now, or at that time back in October, by requiring power, accounts couldn't just come in and, completely decimate the rewards by scaling this up infinitely, if you think about it. So with this, in addition to the power, you'll need to have the cards to play with. So it's not just like you delegate a bunch of different accounts 1,000 power, which is not much, right? Or even like 5,000 power if you want them to get up into Bronze 2 or Bronze 1. I mean, now it's like you have to be playing with these cards. You have to own these cards, and there will therefore be an incentive to buy and own cards. And so the whole point of this, right, is so that they are trying to reward, they're trying to incentivize owning the assets in the game, owning the deck that you have to play with. Starter cards should really just be for people, I don't know, like messing around and trying it out, or just a stopgap fill, right? It shouldn't be your entire deck, which is what tends to happen with a lot of the bot accounts, I should say. But with newer accounts too, if you're just getting your feet wet, like that's fine, go through and play, but also maybe you shouldn't be earning rewards until you invest a little bit into the game. Now, the good thing about this is they said they're going to try and allocate some of the Summoner Spellbook fee towards like credits or something like that, so that people can come in and immediately buy a couple of cards, see what they like first, and then go through and have some credits to be able to give it a shot. So to me, this is awesome. This is going to fix so many of the issues, everybody who's been crying about bots. And like I said, I'm bot neutral, but I understand where you're coming from. And I understand people who have been running bots, because at the end of the day, like, this was something that was incentivized. And therefore, what I loved about Matt's explanation is that if people are doing this, if they're finding a way to exploit the system, the fault is not on theirs. The fault is on the teams for not creating the proper incentives. And this is exactly what they're going to do. I love that approach more than you guys know. So the fact that they are going to focus on this and really try to incentivize people to have all of their collection power, all of their assets within one account, and really try to funnel everything to the top, that is going to be huge. Now, the other part is we're also going to have tiered rewards. So similar to how we have the packs right now, you can, the higher level you are, the higher percentage chance you have of receiving a Chaos Legion pack in your daily quest or your end of season rewards, which is awesome, right? It's great. That's part of the incentive. Well, now what they're going to be doing is increasing the amount of chests that you get, because part of the complaint here, and I totally get it, is like, you're playing in Bronze, you have a 10% chance of receiving a card, you only get one chest, and it's 45% either credits or 45% potions. And to go through that whole thing, especially in bronze, which is such a grind, like I can understand why that is not very appealing to newer players, or players get burned out very quickly. So now in these different leagues, right? Bronze, silver, gold, diamond plus, you will have not only more chests, but I guess the rewards will be a little bit different, right? So there will always be a chance. So and Agro and Matt made sure to make this clear. Even in the lowest of the low, which would be bronze 3, right? Novice doesn't count, but bronze 3, you will still have a chance to receive a gold foil legendary reward. The only thing is, it's going to be a much lower chance. So the idea of like winning the lottery is still there. And I think that's part of it for everybody, right? Like even if you're playing in bronze, you like the idea of being able to win something. But now it's like, okay, you go through this, you get a bunch more, chests based on, bronze or whatever, your league and your division. But it's going to be heavily skewed towards, the top. And I know people are going to look at that and be like, well, of course the top players are getting all the best stuff, but that's really what the economics of the game are meant to be, right? The more you have invested into this game, the more you should get out of it. And I back that. I think that that's a perfectly valid and not an unfair way to go about it. And I understand not everybody has a ton of assets, but the truth is you can come in with very little, right? With very little money right now, especially now, and come in and start earning right away. And when I say earning, and I need to make a video about this, I'm not even talking about like earning money to withdraw and to, suck out of the game. I'm talking about like earning and progressing within the game and building your deck up with a bunch of other, rewards cards and things like that, or trading your rewards cards in for summoners or Chaos Agent cards, whatever the case is. Now, the last thing is there will also be new rewards cards that they are going to be throwing into the mix. So they said the last rewards cards that we had came out in September. Not that they're getting stale, but they are going to add a couple more in to shake things up. I think they said about like 10 new cards. So there's a lot that I want to talk on with the upcoming rewards cards, because they even said that these could offer some new abilities as well. So like to preview the upcoming Rift Watchers cards. This is going to be crazy, guys. This is going to be crazy. But April, I think, is going to be a fantastic month. My hope, and like I said, I just keep it real with you here. My hope is that they actually are able to get this out in April. My fear is, even though it's been pushed back so many times, like I'm mentally and emotionally prepared for them to be like, we just need a little more testing and we'll hopefully get it out in May. But, it's regardless, I'm still very excited. Yes, we are in a weird lull period that is being really dictated by the broader markets. It's not just crypto. It's not just Splinterlands. And it's like the world in general. And obviously there's conflict happening too. There's a lot of uncertainty all around. So, I don't look at this, and I've never looked at Splinterlands and said like, oh, like the game is failing, right? I've looked at it in the context of the rest of the world and what's going on. And is there a fear that if there's prolonged things that it could fail? Absolutely. But that's the same with any project for me, right? Like the only safe project, and this is where my Bitcoin Maxi comes out, the only safe project is Bitcoin out there because it's fully decentralized. But I love everything that Splinterlands is doing, and I love how they have set themselves up to really thrive in a bear market if we are in one or continue to be in one, right? So, all right, that's a little bit of an aside, but lots of cool things coming up for the rewards. There's so much there. Okay, number 3, Yamamat was geeking out on DeFi and saying that he's spent so much time really diving into a lot of the different DeFi platforms and saying that there's so much innovation happening in the space. Now, as somebody who came in from the crypto side, I love this because DeFi is one of the most exciting places for me right now, just personally, right? And stuff that I'm interested in to see what's around. I think Yabamat is absolutely right. There's so much innovation happening because it's like the Wild West. It's the new Wild West where people can just try stuff, and it's all happening on a digital frontier that nobody really has any kind of authority over yet. And that's part of the appeal, is that technically nobody needs to have any authority. Like, yes, there's going to be a lot of scams. There's going to be a lot of rug pulls. There's going to be a lot of random stuff out there, but there's also a lot of gold, like figuratively, like just gold projects, meaning that there's so many cool ideas. Now it's just like, hey, somebody comes up with an idea in one part of the world, and that idea can be added on or added to and expanded upon by somebody on a completely different side of the world. Like this is what the internet has brought us, and now the decentralized version of the internet is really just taking all these ideas and bringing them into one under one like digital roof. So I don't have anything like specific to share on this. I'll probably do another video talking more about the things that he brought up, such as, he was looking at Luna or Terra Luna, which is one of the projects that I think is really cool and happening right now. And kind of comparing that to how Luna, how the Terra ecosystem backs its stablecoin UST, and analogizing that to DEC and how they created DEC to be somewhat of a stablecoin, right? That's why it's on a soft peg and follows the algorithm to stay at that 0.001. And I need to listen to it again, but he was talking about how instead of being backed by another token or another whatever, the DEC peg is actually, or DEC token is actually backed up by cards, which I thought was an interesting concept. But like I said, I need a little bit more time to wrap my head around this. My takeaway here was just the fact that, like, I'm excited about what is happening in the DeFi space, right? There's a lot of really cool innovation going on there. And the fact that Matt is now like, deep into the weeds of it and digging into it and planning to use it for a bunch of things, including land, that's exciting to me. And I'm going to make a separate video on the land stuff because he went deep into like what he's thinking about for land. And land is something that everybody's looking forward to, but there's going to be so much, it's going to be such an involved project or involved in its scope that, I don't know. It's probably going to take a while. So this brings me to the next point, which is land phase 1 is coming out. And we were given a couple of details on land phase 1. Now, this is probably going to be disappointing to some people, especially those who are super hyped on land. But the first phase of land is going to involve being able to claim your land plot and then see it on the map and use it for, well, actually, no, not even use it yet. So it's essentially like being able to open a pack, but not play with the cards yet. And with the way that they were talking about, not just land, but a lot of these innovation or releases, I should say, not innovations, but a lot of these releases that are happening, right? So Rift Watchers, land, even like the Validator stuff, that's not going to really happen until after the airdrop. So as I've been saying, I don't think we're going to see land until, September, October at the earliest, just because they really want to see how things shake out after the airdrop. At that point in time, people are like waiting for land to be able to like do things and stake SPS and stake your cards or use your monsters. I think we're still a very, very long while away from that. I would actually venture to say that that's probably not going to happen until 2023. If all we're going to get for phase 1 is revealing your land plot, and then you can go through and it's just like, oh, if I don't really care for my plot, or if I want to trade it with someone else, or I want to buy another plot because I know where it is, like it's closer to this landmark, or it has these kinds of resources, whatever the case is, right? So all you're going to do is essentially, it's like opening a pack, but not being able to play with the cards just yet. So that is something to keep in mind. I think hopefully it's more of a tempered expectations for people when it comes to land. But it is something that is on the roadmap or, in the future for 2022. All right, number 5. We're getting a little bit out there now. This was interesting because he talked about the validator nodes as well. Gosh, Matt just dropped so much alpha today. It was crazy. But I'm not even going to talk about the rest of the validator stuff, which was very, very exciting. But what's interesting for this now is part of getting the validator nodes set up, right? The basic info that you need to understand this point. Part of setting the validators up is they don't want it to just be to like the top 20 stakers, right? In the way that some of the other DeFi platforms have been set up. They're looking to do this similar to like how Gala Games has done their validator nodes. And to be honest with you and transparent with you, I don't know much about Gala Games. I know I'm very like hyped on the project, but I haven't done a lot of research and I don't own any tokens in that project. But I do know that there is a lot of excitement around what Gala has done. So part of that, and what you'll need to understand for this, is that they want to give out licenses, which will be tradable NFTs, but these licenses will allow you to will allow you to essentially run a node, right? And earn rewards from running a node. So the rewards are going to be split between the validators and then these licenses. And again, I'll probably make a video where we go a little bit more into detail with this. But my big takeaway from what this is going to be, because a lot of that is just, it's cool how they're setting it up, but that's not for everybody. What does affect everybody is the fact that Matt said SPS was going to be burned for the validator node licenses. So if you were to go and buy the license, right? And this is something that they will sell through the website or whatever, but the money will actually not be going to the Splinterlands company. It will be going, well, at first I thought it was going to be through the DAO. So I wonder if there's going to be some kind of clarification, because this would be the first indication that we are going to have any kind of SPS burn. And I don't know. Here's the thing. I don't know if that is if the reason that everybody's been talking about, just a massive supply right now, and therefore we want to have some kind of, burn mechanism in place. I'll be honest. I think it's a little premature for them to start burning SPS like this, but I trust where they're trying to go. 3 billion tokens doesn't seem like that much to me, right? It doesn't seem like that much to me based on a lot of other projects that have way more tokens. And, but at the end of the day, if we start burning SPS, that makes things very interesting, because now all of a sudden SPS becomes even more scarce. So stack and stake. That's all I'm going to continue to be doing in the meantime. So we'll have to see. I'm going to try and see if I can do a follow-up on this, but he did actually say that SPS would be burnt. So if there's going to be mechanisms for burning outside of this, well, including this, but also outside of this, that's going to be something to keep an eye on, because that changes the tokenomics of SPS like entirely. Right. And so that's going to be obviously something that's not in the white paper and will need to be updated, but could be very interesting to follow along with. And like I said, a lot of the stuff that I was digging into here, at least in the back half of this, was very DeFi focused. And I get so excited about DeFi. So if that's not your cup of tea, I totally understand. But, if you are looking to learn more, trust me, some of the content coming through will be me nerding out about what some of the things that Matt was talking about from a DeFi perspective. Okay, last bonus thing is they did mention Splinterfest and a potential location being Las Vegas. Now, we knew Las Vegas and Miami were like the top two picks, especially if it was going to be stateside. It looks like they've settled on stateside, and they were even looking at, I forgot the name of the location, but there's like an arena there that they want to use or potentially rent out for Splinterfest and actually host a live in-person major tournament, which would be really cool. And guys, this is just what I'm talking about. Like, when they look at Splinterfest, this isn't just hey, everybody get together and we all get to hang out with other Splinterlanders. Like, they're really trying to make an event out of this, an esports style event where, it's going to be really cool. Now, I'm not guaranteed to go, although I do have all intentions at this point of going. I just don't know what the dates are. I don't know what my schedule will be like. But if I can, I would love to be there. And I'm very curious to know if there is going to be one in the back half of this year that's going to be in Las Vegas. Would you go? Because it'd be cool to actually meet some of the other Splinterlanders out there, rather than just, chatting through streams or comments or whatever. But that is all I have for you guys in this video. Like I said, I don't want to make this too long, because I could probably talk for more than 2 hours, which is the length of the town hall. I could probably talk for more than 2 hours just going into all of these different things and what I'm excited about. But I think I'm going to chunk this out into different videos just to make it a little bit more easily digestible, and so that I can actually have focused thoughts on all of the different things that I wanted to talk about. So let me know if you had a chance to listen to it and what you are most excited about. If you cannot tell from the energy that I have in this video, I'm like, I actually want to take my cards off of the rental market and just start playing again, because I'm that charged up. But it's just going to be one of those things where we just have to be patient with it. There's been a lot floating around. There's a lot of frustration, and I understand it because I share that with you guys, right? As somebody who's like heavily invested in this game, who's now working with a team doing some cool music stuff, I still get frustrated too, because it's just like, man, we've been wanting this stuff for a while and it's just not here. But it's coming. And that was never in doubt. It was just frustration. And I think if you are here now and you are part of the economy, part of the community, we go through cycles, guys. We go through cycles, and this is a down part of a cycle. And it's not to say that it can't go further down, but when it shoots back up, and it will, it's going to be glorious. All right, guys, I will catch you all in the next video, and I will see you around the game. Have an amazing rest of your day.